Welcome to our Quotes Corner, a place where inspiration and wisdom collide. We believe that quotes have the ability to spark a positive change within us and guide us on our journey through life.
It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. In the long history of humankind and animal kind, to those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. I am not apt to follow blindly the lead of other men. Intelligence is based on how efficient a species became at doing the things they need to survive. Blushing is the most peculiar and most human of all expressions. We stopped looking for monsters under our bed when we realized that they were inside of us. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. I have called this principle, by which each slight variation, if useful, is preserved, by the term of natural selection. It is always advisable to perceive clearly our ignorance. Man tends to increase at a greater rate than his means of subsistence. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. We can allow satellites, planets, suns, universe, nay whole systems of universes, to be governed by laws, but the smallest insect, we wish to be created at once by special act. The very essence of instinct is that it's followed independently of reason. A moral being is one who is capable of reflecting on his past actions and their motives, of approving of some and disapproving of others. Freedom of thought is best promoted by the gradual illumination of men's minds which follows from the advance of science. I am a firm believer that without speculation, there is no good and original observation. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us, and I for one must be content to remain an agnostic. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. I have tried lately to read Shakespeare, and found it so intolerably dull that it nauseated me. Great is the power of steady misrepresentation, but the history of science shows that fortunately this power does not long endure. Even people who aren't geniuses can outthink the rest of mankind if they develop certain thinking habits. My mind seems to have become a kind of machine for grinding general laws out of large collections of facts. We must, however, acknowledge, as it seems to me, that man with all his noble qualities still bears in his bodily frame the indelible stamp of his lowly origin. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. A republic cannot succeed till it contains a certain body of men imbued with the principles of justice and honor. The more one thinks, the more one feels the hopeless immensity of man's ignorance.
If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring the world of quotes, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell.